Hey everybody, Andrew here. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to all of our new subscribers here on YouTube and our new followers over on Twitch. Those of you that subscribe to me on Twitch are the sole reason I can keep making these videos, so very many thanks to Invert, Max, Malthier, Medallion, Potato Man, and Moo for their contributions to my channel. Anyways, with that out of the way, Project Zomboid has gotten absolutely huge recently with the release of Build 41 multiplayer, so I'd like to share some of my tips for new Project Zomboid players, so let's get right on it. Now, one of the most common thing I see new players doing in Project Zomboid is making a less than optimal build for their playstyle. And obviously it's very hard to make a good build before you know the game very well at all. I only recently found a build that works pretty well for me after a good 200 hours of gameplay. What you'll have to realize is that Project Zomboid is a game where your playstyle will greatly differ from player to player, and you need to pick traits and occupations based on the gameplay that you'd like to have. For example, if you'd like to get into gun shooting in Project Zomboid and you want your build to be focused around shooting guns, you should pick a trait or an occupation that makes shooting guns easier. And these could be traits like policeman or veteran, and I highly recommend new players that want to get into guns do actually go ahead and pick veteran, as it makes your aiming skill a little bit higher and therefore more usable in the beginning when your skill is low. On top of that, you get the desensitized ability, which makes it so that your character can never become panicked. Now, and the same thing obviously goes for melee. If you want to get into melee, you should find a really good build online. I'd highly recommend you try out the Axeman skill. It gives you Axe and Strength skill. And on top of that, if you pair it with the trait called Strong, you have a pretty good build going for you. Finally, in this matter, I'd like to add that some traits are more useful in multiplayer than in single player and vice versa. In single player, slow healer might not be a huge deal, but in multiplayer you can't do time control, for example, and therefore the slow healer trait is going to get really annoying. So it's never a bad idea to experiment a little bit both in single player and multiplayer and seeing what works for you. Now, this next one is something I just realized quite recently myself, but in Project Zomboid you can find VHS skill tapes scattered around the world. These skill tapes can give you a massive experience boost. Skill tapes will often be called something related to their skill, like Woodcraft gives you carpentry experience, and Exposure Survival gives you a mix of different survival skills like farming, fishing, trapping, etc. You can play these VHS tapes by putting them into the VHS slot in a TV. So if you pair a skill tape with the correct skill book, and maybe the fast learner trait, you can actually jump from level 0 to level 2 in some cases without doing anything at all other than looking at a VHS tape. In addition to this, you can actually watch live television in Project Zomboid for the first 9 days and get different experience in things like fishing, cooking, and carpentry. There's even an online guide that shows you the airing schedule so you know when to switch on that TV. However, if you're in deeper than 9 days, VHS tapes are all you've got. One thing I've really noticed is how new players in Project Zomboid will often struggle really bad with surviving their first few hours, and getting a car, if used the right way, can be a really useful tool to stay alive in Project Zomboid. Now, getting a working car can be a little bit tricky, so if you choose the burglar occupation when creating a character, you can actually hotwire any car simply by getting in the driver's seat of the vehicle, opening the vehicle menu by pressing V, clicking start engine, and after a few tries your character should start the engine. If you hear the starter kicking in but the engine not actually turning on, it might be out of fuel, and you should check the gas tank by going to the front of the car, clicking E, and checking the gas tank by hovering your mouse over it. Finally, if you actually struggle to find open cars you can get into, you can always smash the window, but try and smash the rear window, as if you smash the front driver's side window, there's no barrier between you and the zombies anymore, and they can actually grab you or even bite you while you're seated in the car. Now, this next tip is connected directly to my previous tip. In Project Zomboid, a vehicle can be a fantastic weapon, but you need to know how to use it correctly. If you ram zombies straight on with your car, eventually that will lead to the hood breaking, and your engine will start taking damage. Eventually, your engine will reach 0% durability and stall, leaving you stranded on the side of the road. To avoid this, try hitting zombies with the rear of your car. This will actually damage the trunk of the car and limit the storage space available, but it will keep your engine lasting a little bit longer. And do remember to check the durability of your engine. Even though you're ramming zombies with the rear of your car, your engine could still take some damage, and it is very important to know exactly how your engine is doing. It could keep you alive just a little bit longer. Bites in Project Zomboid is always fatal unless you play on a server where zombification is turned off. So if you go into your health status and you see that bitten icon, sorry buddy, you're not making it. It'll be a few days before you start feeling queasy and nauseous, but that's how you know your death is approaching. To prevent getting bitten, wear clothing that give you good bite and scratch defense, and perhaps consider picking the thick-skinned trait. This will lessen the chance of a zombie being able to bite you and increase the survival rate if you do happen to get scratched by a zombie. If you struggle to find clothing that give you good scratch and bite protection, go to your local fire station and find firefighter clothing and pants. It has some of the best bite protection you can get. Also, if you happen to find a sewing kit, you can always just patch up the clothing you currently have. If you happen to find some cloth or leather strips, that will give you added insulation and or bite and scratch protection. Project Zomboid will for the most part have an urban spread of zombies. This means the larger the city is, the more zombies it will have. Choosing a huge city like West Point as a spawn location, therefore, might be a bad idea. I'll always recommend new players to go for Rosewood. It's not massive, but not tiny either. There will be a lot of zombies here, but your survival chances will be higher than in other major cities like Louisville. Rosewood also has a few great base locations for both new and experienced players. The fire station in Rosewood is a great starter base if you can get to it. It has beds, TV, food, medical supplies, and typically a few vehicles parked right outside. And for the more experienced players, a base in Kentucky State Prison isn't a horrible idea either if you can clear the zombies out of it. Now this next trick was shown to me by Moo while we were streaming over on Twitch. If you're struggling to find the key to a locked area, like let's say the police armory, a very cool trick you can actually do is trying to lure a zombie from the street into the police station or a locked area you want to gain access to. The thing is, the inventory of zombies are spawned depending on where the zombies are killed. So if you kill a zombie inside the police station, there's a chance the zombie you just killed might have a house key in their inventory. However, if all else fails, the sledgehammer is the ultimate key in Project Zomboid. The sledgehammer will let you demolish any door, any wall, and any floor you so desire. With a sledgehammer, you can secure the second story of a building so no zombies can make it up. You can breach your way into armories or even remodel whole houses at your own command. Just don't forget to add escape ropes for easy access. You can pick up almost anything in Project Zomboid. Furniture, shelves, car parts, dead corpses, and so forth. Some items like sofas will require carpentry skill, stoves might require electrical skill, others will let you try at a risk, and some are always safe to disassemble like the metal shelves. And with these you can add some extra storage to your own safe house. Now, this next trick takes a little bit of finesse, a little luck, and is very risky, but does also generally have really high reward. If you want to clear zombies out from a city or an area around you, one way to do it is to do what I like to call burnouts. Burnouts are essentially exploiting zombies burning combined with the fact that zombies cannot reach you if you are in a vehicle and something is blocking the zombie's path to you. So if you're sitting on the driver's side of a vehicle and another car is blocking your driver's door, congratulations, you've actually made a cocoon that zombies cannot get into. So what you do to achieve this is you park two vehicles up real tight against each other, preferably the driver's side of both vehicles parked against each other. Next, you'll need a Molotov to throw out zombies. You can craft one out of a bottle, some fuel, and a rag, or by finding bourbon and other strong alcohols. Equip the Molotov as your primary weapon, a lighter or matches as your secondary weapon, and throw the Molotov at the zombies. And once the zombie catches fire, quickly jump into your vehicle and get into the seat of the vehicle that the zombies cannot reach, in our case on the driver's side. Now the next important part of this is to attract as many zombies as you can possibly get. So using the car's horn or sirens if you have an emergency vehicle is a real good way to draw in as many zombies from the surrounding areas and burn them all down, eventually leaving a huge pile of burned zombies on the ground. Now, like I said, this trick is really risky, and this is something you should try out a few times on a test character before really committing to it in a world you really care about. But if you learn how to do it and you do it correctly, it can be an incredible way to clear out whole cities of the undead if you so wish. I also want to say that I stream Project Zomboid quite frequently over on twitch.tv/EndryTV, so if you want to see me playing live, do check it out. And finally, if you guys have any other tricks or tips for new players in Project Zomboid, please do leave them down in the comment section below. I would really appreciate it. And if you guys like this content, please do consider supporting me by giving the video a like or by subscribing.